used to be with it. Then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the What I'm With podcast. I'm Dave. This is my brother Tim.
I'm Tim.
And we're on a thing called the internet.
Oh, the lining of a bathing suit?
No, it's a series of tubes that Al Gore made.
Oh, right. So they could take trucks of things and dump them into the ocean and make a connection across the sea, right?
The channel?
No.
Okay, well,
a series of tubes.
We're on the series of tubes, and pop quiz, hotshot.
Okay.
You're playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how to get to the next part of the video game.
Oh.
What do?
Well, there's 3 choices.
Okay.
Option 1 is phone a friend or a brother.
Okay.
Who's better at video games than me.
Okay.
Like, Dave, how'd you get this?
Okay.
Get past this point.
I'm guessing you're not ranking this by priority because I can't imagine you would call me first.
Well, I'm talking about back then, right?
Oh, you're jumping the gun.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
to say today.
Oh, today I just
You used
go
the series of
into
tubes.
the Google machine and I type like this.
Right.
Because this is how I type.
Correct.
One finger in each hand.
But before today.
Ah, yes. Yes,
Now,
that's what I was doing.
You got ahead of me. Well,
Yeah.
No, we won't say that.
No.
So yeah, we live in a very interesting era where information is available at your fingertips and you can discover anything. But it wasn't just about beating games. In the very beginning of video games, there were hidden Easter eggs.
Yeah.
I believe the first really well-known one was in the Atari game Adventure, where there was a secret room you could find where the programmer had written his name.
Oh, okay.
Well, not a big Easter egg.
Still something.
But it's something. And that sort of persisted up to today. There's still Easter eggs. Do any come to your mind?
There are a couple. The first thing I thought of, because I've had Metal Gear Solid on the brain lately, and they made a version of Metal Gear Solid for the GameCube.
Okay.
And in one scene, when you're looking for Otacon, you can see a Yoshi on one of the desks.
It's interesting that you mentioned Metal Gear because I was going to reference, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2, but Psycho Mantis would read your memory card.
Dude.
And he'd be like, oh, I see you've been playing
Castlevania.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Do you remember? You had to, okay, you're fighting this boss who can read your mind, and you're suddenly unable to do anything to beat him. You have to unplug your controller from port 1 and plug it into port 2.
Yeah.
Like, you guys don't understand how insane that was, because you think the game's crashing.
Right.
And not working, or your controller's broken.
Which also brings up, if you remember, on the GameCube, the Eternal Darkness.
Yes.
Which you had a sanity meter.
Yeah.
And when your sanity meter went down, it pretended to crash the game. It pretended to delete your entire hard drive. It messed with you.
Yes.
Not where I was going, but that just spun me up.
Let's talk about this a lot.
That game.
Yeah.
I mean, just randomly, you just hear women or children crying.
Yeah.
And knocking. And
I watched you play the game, it was enough for me.
I was not okay the whole time I played that game.
Because we, as brothers, when you get a new game, like, you're either not having it spoiled and never watching one play, or you're just watching another play.
Yeah, in for the whole thing.
So I absorbed that game by watching.
I think that was one I bought or got for my birthday or something. Yeah, it was
so
good. Some other famous Easter eggs. I want to say it was Force Unleashed. Had Jar Jar and Kryptonite. Kryptonite.
Real? Oh, yeah, that rings a bell.
And then Fallout New Vegas. Maybe Fallout 3, but I think it was Fallout New Vegas. You can find a fridge with the bones of someone who is dressed very similarly to Indiana Jones.
Huh.
So...
I don't remember anything with Indiana Jones in a refrigerator.
No, but it's still like...
There's something with an ark,
Easter related.
something with a temple, and something with a crusade. I don't remember anything else.
Oh, maybe it was from the TV show with
That's
the
right.
guy from Boondock Saints.
Yeah, there was actually they brought Harrison Ford in for a flashback or flash forward, mid.
Flash to side?
Flash to side,
there was just flashing.
But he was there.
So,
anyway.
The next thing, to get ahead of you getting ahead of me.
Okay.
You could get...
Yes. The strategy guide.
A Nintendo Power. There was also, I think, Game Informer, which was kind of platform neutral.
Yeah.
But you would get a strategy guide, and it would have maps. It would have strategies. I think if there were cheat codes, it would have cheat codes. And it was just, this is what you get. This is the only way, because there's no repository of all the information in the universe in one place.
There is another way.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I
won't get ahead of you.
There are other ways.
I won't get ahead of you.
I don't think we ever had a Nintendo Power subscription.
No, I had a
we would
Game
buy,
Pro subscription.
Yeah, you did have Game Pro, and I remember we would go to Babbage's and occasionally buy a Game Informer or a Nintendo Power.
Or sometimes just flip to the
or
page.
Or sometimes just flip to the page, because that was the way to find out.
Don't spend your precious $5 on a magazine. Just read the part that you need to read and move on.
And that was sort of critical to get the information. But so you had strategies, you had Easter eggs, and then, as mentioned, there were cheat codes.
Cheating, how to make it work for you at home and on the job.
And this is going to bring us to our game.
Famous
our
cheat
game
codes.
today is all about cheat codes.
Can I ask you a question before you proceed?
Of course.
Do you have King's Quest anywhere on this list?
No.
I wanted to share a recollection I had about King's Quest when we were kids. So we played this game with our dad. It was
Which one are we talking about?
I think it was 5.
It will take 1 gold coin to see Madame Wushka.
So what the part where we had to traverse the desert.
You're right.
So as nerds and yes,
Nectar of the Gods.
Sons of a nerd.
Yeah.
You can only go so many screens. So you'd be on a screen, and as you proceed, you shift to the next screen. And it was grid based, and you had to be able to get to oases to get the whole way across the desert, which again is in a grid pattern.
Yeah.
So we had a notebook. We wrote out the grid, and we just had to go and we go this way, and we made our own map to make it across the desert, and that's one of those locked in things. You kids don't know the struggle of having to do it yourself.
To this day, I will say, water. Nectar of the gods. Graham feels his strength returning to him.
The cool, clean water quenches Graham's thirst.
All right, so, obviously, when you talk about cheat codes, you have to start with the OG.
Up, down, down, left, right, BA start.
The Konami code.
The Konami code works in Konami games.
So,
in theory.
Question 1.
Contra.
Other than Contra... It's actually written. Besides Contra.
Oh, crap.
Okay, so you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cheat code questions.
IDDQD.
Let me get there. I need you to correctly get 2.5.
Okay.
Because there are... Or no, I'll give you 2. Two and you get a point. Okay?
Sure.
And if you get above that, we'll talk about bonus points as it happens.
Whatever, man. I'm going to lose this.
So, other than Contra, and it is roughly 50 games, other than Contra, name 1 game that the Konami code works on.
So here's the struggle for me. Never used it on any game other than Contra in my life.
Sure.
So
it's not even a cheat code in Contra. It just makes Contra playable.
Yeah, you get 99 lives, which is kind of what you need to beat that game.
Yeah.
Unless you're really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another Konami title just to get on the board with it. Did they do the Top Gun game? I'll say Top Gun.
Correct. Top Gun, the second mission on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Some other titles that you may remember, Batman Returns on SNES. Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance on Game Boy Advance. It's a little newer. You've got Final Fight 2.
Oh.
Hagar. And Cody?
Sure.
Gradius 2. Frogger.
Yeah, this is... I didn't even let my brain escape the NES ecosystem.
Right. Because that's where it started.
Yeah,
Konami code started there.
I didn't even think it would continue beyond there.
Yeah. And then there's actually some non-Konami games that, as almost an Easter egg, included the Konami code just as, callback. Okay, so you've already said 1. Recite 2 Doom cheat codes. So you had IDDQD. And what is IDDQD in your memory?
IDDQD, I believe, is God mode.
Correct.
And then there was no clipping, IDSPISPOPD.
Can you repeat it? I
think it was IDSPISPOPD.
And that's the difficult one, because the other one is ID no clip. You went with the long, drawn-out no clipping one. There's also full health, full ammo, ID KFA.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I expected.
Keys, full ammo, yeah.
I did not expect you to have no clipping. That was impressive.
That's one of those things that is just locked into my brain.
So,
I don't know why.
Yeah, no, IDQD and IDKFA, but not ID...
I couldn't remember the name of Breakfast Club 2 minutes after you said Breakfast Club in a previous episode, but I could remember a cheat code from a 1993 PC game.
Yeah. That's impressive.
You can't even enter that code now as it's emulated on every console known to man.
No, you'd have to have some sort of device to do that. I'm not
it's even sure that there's a whole thing of making Doom run on literally anything with a screen.
Yeah.
Like there's the best one I've seen is there's a keyboard that has a little LCD on the top, and they actually make it run on that.
That's so great.
Anyway.
All right. Well, congratulations. You're on the board. You have a point.
I have a point.
I
need it.
So let's see if you can get any bonus points.
All right.
I'm going to rattle off a code at you, and you are going to tell me the game.
Okay.
ABA CABB.
Mortal Kombat.
Crap. Look at you. Do you remember what that code did?
I believe that was that the blood on and off?
Blood on and off, Genesis only.
Yeah.
There was no way to get blood on Super Nintendo. Look, dude, I am impressed.
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed with you.
I'm impressed because I think I have early onset memory loss, so I'm very impressed.
There you go. All right. L plus R plus right. L plus R plus down. L plus up. L plus R plus down. C up. R up. L plus R plus right. L plus left. Down. L plus C down.
It's too much, but based on the button configuration, it sounds like it's Nintendo 64, and therefore I'm going to say it's a GoldenEye cheat code.
It's the Golden Gun. Look at you, on fire today.
Man.
As a side note, when I last got together with my brother, he said my games were too hard.
I did.
So I made it easier by saying you only had to get 2, when in my head you needed to get 3 or 4. Well, you've already gotten 4.
I would have done it either way, just without all the pressure.
Here's the final one for today.
Okay.
R2, R2, L1, R2, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up.
That sounds so familiar.
It's one we have entered many times in our lives.
Yeah. The thing that jumps into my head again is Metal Gear Solid. I don't think I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I'm going to go with.
It's actually GTA 3.
Oh.
All guns or all weapons. So
I need that because I have GTA 3 sitting down there.
Yep. So you got 4 out of 5. We'll say that's 2 points.
Okay.
So look at you. You might be winning. I don't remember where we stood on the rankings. It's close.
Yeah, I think you were ahead.
I was ahead, but I don't remember if I was ahead by 1 or by 2. So you've either tied or taken the lead.
Okay.
So this is getting exciting because we only have maybe 2 or 3 episodes left. I forget where we are right now.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to prove who's best.
It's going to be close.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be we might have to come up with some sudden death stuff for the season wrap up.
We might, and we might need a third party to give us a.
We might.
Yeah. Oh, you know what we could do? Is I have a book of Simpsons trivia, and maybe what we'll do is use that as the tiebreaker.
Like a sudden death tiebreaker.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
That could work. That could definitely work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have talked about cheat codes. We have talked about Nintendo Power, Game Informer.
Is this Nintendo Power, or is this just a manual just for GoldenEye?
That is Nintendo Power specifically for GoldenEye. So it is they would do the monthly, and then they would do the. So I picked that up when I went to get the piece de resistance for today.
Oh boy!
Which you have to know what's coming.
I mean, I
would assume, if we're talking about Easter eggs and cheating, what's left?
Game Genie.
Game Genie.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Dude, you have got to.
Game,
let me.
The Game Genie.
This is the NES Game Genie.
Yes.
Wow.
So, for you youngsters out there, this little piece of hardware essentially injected malicious code into in between the game and the console. It was sort of a roll of the dice as to when you enter in these random characters in a sequence, you're going to get game-breaking stuff. Some of it will be beneficial, some of it will just ruin the game. But they would compile this booklet, and you could get supplements for it down the road, and it just, any game, you just plug the game in, plug this into the NES, and I will show on the Jumbotron the commercials. I mean, they push this hard. Like, they are, without meaning to, they are promising you immortality. in their commercials, they tell you, live forever.
Oh my gosh.
So this, it's mine.
Yeah.
I get to live
hang
forever.
on to that. That's fine.
You get to die.
Game Genie lets you change levels, jump higher, punch harder, live forever. Uncover the new power in most of your old video games with Game Genie.
I use it when I want to live forever.
You know, there was also there was a whole legal thing with Game Genie 2 where Nintendo did not want this to come out.
Yeah, because it did not violate FEC or whatever standard, whatever it is for the electronic. It's not FCC because it's not broadcasting.
My memory tells me that ultimately they had to like do something where they made it in Canada and imported it to get around all this.
Yeah, there was something
like
weird
that
to get it in the country. But this was the way to cheat for games that did not have cheat codes built in.
Yeah, because NES games are very hard.
Yeah, there's a specific page in here that if this were not a reproduction, if this were the actual one that we had growing up, we would probably be dog-eared to Battletoads.
Yes. Because
Battletoads was unplayably hard.
Yeah.
And it had level skipping, it had infinite lives, it had all kinds. It actually had something that made the game harder because it.
Yeah, you could. I
just
guess
don't know.
Whatever you wanted to do. I know there were some games we would play, and then everything would kind of go all like green pixelated.
Yeah,
because it would just mess up.
It is injecting code.
Yeah,
it's not what the programmers wanted you to do.
Right,
but it would make some of the. There's a kind of a meme of, there was hard and then there's Nintendo hard.
Yeah.
And this fixed Nintendo hard.
Yeah.
Like games like Battletoads, Silver Surfer, there's a handful of others.
Yeah, games...
Contra, but they did have cheat
But
codes,
games where, like, there's no saving.
None.
If you're out of lives...
You get as far as you get.
Yeah, so you don't come back to pick up your game where you left off. You start at the beginning.
Yeah, and there are legitimately still some challenging games today.
Yeah.
But all of them have save points.
Even if you go back and play these old challenging games, whether it be on a Switch console, on the digital store, or
there's
if
a
you
save state.
Yeah, you can save the state, and okay, I'll come back and pick this up later.
I've done that many times. Yeah.
Super Star Wars, if you remember that game, very, very difficult.
I actually
Super
almost
Nintendo.
picked up Super Empire Strikes Back while I was shopping. I was like, I've spent enough money today.
Yeah, but I have it on the PlayStation, and it has the save state. So that jump that I can never make, I just keep trying until it's totally cheating. I should. It's a skill issue. I should get good. But I'm also old and don't have time to do that. So if I want to enjoy games from my childhood, being able to just let me just try this jump over and over until I get it. Okay, moving on. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's great. But we grew up in an era that video games were hard. Mm-hmm. Beloved characters in entertainment would die. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had it rough while still living in the lap of luxury, but and it was.
I think a product of why games were so much harder back then too is limitations to how much game you could actually produce.
That's definitely a big part of it. Also, the arcade ports, because the arcade games had to be just hard enough so that you'd keep feeding quarters into them.
Yeah. So the idea being, if you beat your game in 2 hours, where's your value?
Right.
But if you have to memorize every boss at every place to jump to in Ninja Gaiden, then you're spending. I had to say it that way. I was thinking of Ross from Friends.
Yes, that's exactly.
When you're doing karate.
Yeah.
On your way to get guacamole.
Yeah.
But you really have to start to pattern memorize the bosses or even just the regular guys, where they're coming from and where to jump, when to jump. So your value in the game was repetition.
Right, which is now just kind of the opposite of what people are looking for in a lot. Of course, there's still repetitive games, but a lot of those are mobile. But on your consoles, on your PC, you want big, gigantic, immersive 50, 60, 80 hour games. But
people online refer to a lot of these games as walking simulators, which I think is hilarious. Yeah. But I'm not good, so for me, there's enough challenge in them. But
I have played the ultimate walking simulator, for me at least, that I played. Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. It is not a game. You are just walking and discovering what happened.
Oh.
There's no
That
game
is
mechanic.
that is a walking
It is a
simulator.
walking sim. But it's telling a story, so it's just an interactive way of learning a story. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing a character and everyone's gone, and you are trying to figure out why, and hence everyone's gone to the Rapture.
Does it have cheat codes?
I mean, there's probably YouTube walkthroughs. Yeah, I see, but yeah, no,
Brought it back.
Yeah, but you don't need a cheat code in a walking simulator.
Can I have one? Could I fly?
Maybe auto walking. Yeah, that's called a movie. Tim.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, just make it a cutscene. Just make it a cutscene.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I do you have anything else to add to the glorious world of cheating and how it can improve your life?
The only thing that was heavily marketed to us as young men was calling the Nintendo hotline.
Oh, the Nintendo
And this is
hotline.
nefarious because it was like, I think, $2 to connect and then $1 a minute after
It was
that. But
something ridiculous.
something.
We'll put it up on the Jumbotron.
I don't remember the exact prices, but in the 90s, 80s, 90s, this is like an astronomical amount of money.
Yeah.
And there's this whole thing before unlimited phone minutes and all that stuff of, you don't use the phone during peak hours, especially if it's long distance.
Right.
And
Long
then
distance,
you don't,
remember that?
Yeah, I remember. And then also don't dial numbers that will charge you.
Right.
So the temptation was strong.
Wasn't
to
the
call
Nintendo hotline featured in The Wizard?
I believe it was actually, yes.
Yeah, which we talked about in episode 1.
We did.
Which I mistakenly called The Wiz, the Michael Jackson movie.
And I said the Wizard,
Yes.
but I knew it was the Wizard.
Yes,
I just had to pronounce it that way to be
pedantic.
funny.
Yeah.
But
To belittle me in front of the audience.
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the temptation was strong to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think we ever did because
I don't remember ever
we
using the
feared
Nintendo
the
hotline
righteous
because,
wrath of our parents.
Back in those days, adults looked at their bills instead of just paying them blindly.
Yeah, and like, so you kids spent $10 on the Nintendo hotline. Guess who's sweeping out the shed and the attic? Yeah.
Attic.
Yeah. No thanks.
No.
Yeah, that was the only thing that came to mind and was curious if it would pop up is the hotlines.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't have that. It's funny. I was trying to think through all the different stuff, and I got completely because we never did it.
Yeah,
it was just not in my head. But all the other stuff we definitely did.
Absolutely.
And of course, should go without saying, but Game Genie also existed for Game Boy, for Genesis, and SNES.
Yep.
I don't think it was around by N64, and it definitely was only a cartridge based.
Yeah.
Because it had to get in between the game and the console.
Yes, as it loads onto the system memory.
Yeah,
it has to interrupt.
It's injecting malicious code. It's malware.
Yeah,
it's crazy when you think about it.
It really is.
It's actual malware for sale for children. Oh,
I just want to start a store that says malware for sale
for children. We'll put that storefront up on the Jumbotron as well.
Awesome, that's all you, so go for it.
Or maybe it'll be our third or second T-shirt or whatever.
Yeah. Maybe Mouse Yarn will open there.
Yeah.
The punk band.
The prog. Oh yeah. Oh no, it was the actual.
It was the liquid discharge of rodents. That's the prog rock band. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have really funny ideas to put in the episode after we've already filmed it.
Yeah.
It's sad. You guys get our B to B plus, but our A work is when the cameras aren't rolling. Well, on that note, I guess we will see you guys in a future episode.
Yeah, be sure to hit the little likey, thumbs up
like,
thingy
subscribe,
guy.
share with your friends.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and we're getting very close to the end of the season. We will very soon know which one of us is best.
Mm-hmm.
So look for episode 13, the season wrap-up, which should be very soon.
Very soon.
That this is probably episode 10 or 11 by now. It's got to be close.
Yeah, we're inching close to the end, man.
Yeah, so it's getting serious.
Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
Indeed. Bye.
Bye.